Welcome to the Off Script Podcast. I am your host, Will May, and we are in store for a treat of a conversation today. For those of you not watching, I have a special guest here today, and this is one of the highest performing real estate agents in the Omaha market for over the last 20 years consistently. I could probably read a short chapter book of the awards that you've won in the Berkshire Hathaway National Network and just the national recognition that you've gotten. Always over the $40 million volume mark, top 1, 2, or 3 consistently in units and volume. But my favorite reason you're recognized is your basketball career. Okay. As a Hall of Famer at the University of Nebraska, the leading scorer for women's basketball, over 2,400 points scored, over 25 points a game your junior year. A Wade Trophy winner. Yep. And when I say that, that is one of the highest honors in women's college basketball. I'm a huge basketball fan, so basketball players like Cheryl Miller, Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi, Paige Buchers, Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark have won this award. You've won that award. I did not know that.
Okay. Yeah.
What a phenomenal just person overall and just continued success. Karen Jennings, welcome.
Thank you so much.
We could probably list that off for 20 minutes.
Yeah. I was just, I think, very fortunate to be at the right school at the right time, and I put my heart and soul into basketball for a long time, so it was really, really great experiences.
Yeah, I feel like just to stay on the top of basketball for a second, just because I'm like a huge fan of just hoops, to have an all-time scoring award takes longevity is not like, hey, I just had a great game, right? Yep. That's consistency in action and being available. In sports, it's one of the main things is to be available consistently, and to have an award like that just means like that shows your consistency, which is played right into your real estate career.
Yeah, I tell people this all the time that I actually practiced 2 hours a day. I mean, I just did it every day. I just knew what I wanted to be. I always wanted to just play college basketball. I didn't have any goals of being first team All-American or player of the year or I just really wanted to play, and I loved playing. And so my whole goal was to make it to be a Division I athlete. And so I just practiced 2 hours a day from the time I was 14 years old till I went to college. And then when I was in college, I literally would go to the Devaney Center, and I would ask the janitors to let me in, and I would practice from 7 to 8. And then my first class was at 8:30 in the morning. So I practiced an hour every day on my own, even when I was at Nebraska, plus the 3-hour practices we had, and just took it very seriously. I was a very serious student athlete, and it just basically served me well. So
it's so awesome.
It ended up well. So, but you reap what you sow.
Yeah. Do you have any connections still to the basketball world, like having those awards and like?
I still have season tickets to the Lady Husker games. I was there the other day to watch them play UCLA. I really wanted to see Lauren Betts and Kiki Rice play. I think that UCLA has the potential to win the national championship this year.
Cool. I love it.
Yeah, I support Amy Williams and the entire Husker basketball team. I am behind them 110%. I bleed Nebraska red.
Love it. And now you see the men having an incredible year.
And the guys are just they're doing an incredible job.
Yeah, it's something we can be proud of.
Very proud. And I watched them 2 nights ago too. Yeah. They're doing great.
I love it. Okay, well, I know we're here to talk real estate, so I can keep going about that for a while. But okay, so we're going into this 26 year. Tell me, how did your year end last year? Production, units, volume. Are you still running a team? How's that looking right now?
I have a small team.
Okay.
So there's 3 of us that are on the team, and we're all very experienced real estate agents. I went as high as 8 on my team at one point. I'm down to 3. Our job is to just give incredible service. We are here to serve our client, and we don't want every client. We want the right clients, and that's how we've kind of approached. Our team did 50 million. I personally did 43 million.
Wow.
So last year, and then we did 110 transactions, and it's going well. So,
and that's something you've done consistently.
I'm quiet. I'm a quiet, consistent performer. You're not going to, I just work, and I don't make a big scene about it. I just do what I want to do, and I really focus hardcore on my sphere.
Yeah. And so database is a big topic of what we'll be talking about. Before we go there, I want to talk about what you just said, that consistency and longevity in our industry. We see agents come in all the time, and they'll be here 1 or 2 years, or maybe have a great year, but then try to figure it out, and you don't see that growth and consistency.
Yeah.
What does it take to be at that level, in the top 5, the top 10 in units and volume in Omaha for 10, 15 years?
Yeah, I call it sustainable success is way better than just being a, hardcore driven, achiever for 1 year. And where you're just, I never want to be a transactional agent. I want to treat every person like they're a person in my family.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our mentality, is that relationship is like, okay, they're going to get a Christmas card from my family every year. It doesn't even say Berkshire Hathaway on it. They're just going to get a Christmas card from my family. So, and that's kind of how we approach it. We really want to work with people that we can be their forever agent. And I know that's used a lot in this industry, but it is true. And sustainable, having sustainable success takes consistency with marketing, consistency with follow-up, and just being the same person every single day for them.
Yep.
And some people are really on, and then they're really off, and then sometimes they return your calls, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they follow up, and sometimes they don't. But if you really want to be good at anything, you have to answer calls the same day. You have to get back with people within 2 hours. You have to commit to that, because that is the most important thing.
Yep.
And you can take a day off, but if you're going to take a day off, you need to let everyone know that you're going to be gone for a couple days and have a vacation. I take a couple weeks off a year, and I just let everyone know I'm going to be gone, and they need to call my 2 teammates, and they know that. And no one expects you to work 24/7, 365 days of the year. But you do need to call people. And if an agent calls you, you should call them back. If an agent texts you, you can text them back, but you need to mirror your clients. If your clients are always calling to talk to you, you need to call them back. You don't answer their calls with text messages. So I think just matching your client with what they want and having that intuition. And if you work with someone that wants to sit and chat, then you know what? You just got to carve out more time in your schedule so you have time to sit and chat.
And be aware of that, right?
And be aware of it. You just have to be intuitive and read the room. Read the situation, and we all have those clients that are going to take a lot more tender care. And sometimes I just include my team members and say, hey, I'm going to have you help me with this one, because they need more than I'm able to give them right now because of the volume and the business that we're doing.
Yeah.
And so you just have to realize that you can't, and really I think the key to longevity is knowing when to say no. You know when it's not a good fit, and you say no, or you say, I'm going to have you work with my teammate.
Yeah, and that's having an abundant mindset, knowing that this deal isn't the last deal, right? And am I the right person to help this situation, the client? And you might not be. And if that's the case because of time, or they might not be in the right place, there's no sense in trying to force something into something that's not right for them just because you want a deal, right? I think a lot of agents fall into that at times. The scarcity mindset.
Then you over promise and under deliver. And you'd rather over deliver and under promise.
Yep.
So I think that's incredibly important.
Your team are they selling agents, or they help you with transactions as well? Like what's that structure?
They have their own people that they bring in, that they put together. Missy does a lot of new construction. She works with Jack Construction, and she came from the new construction side. And then Missy Turner, and then Sam Barata she's a very sphere influence. She has a lot of family in Omaha and friends and people that she has brought to the table.
Yeah. You talked about database and being their forever agent, right? And generations now. We talked about that a little bit on the phone. How, with as many past clients as you have now, and the reach that you have being who you are, right? Like in your database, your sphere, and how many people know you, how do you possibly stay in touch with that many people?
I do 2 big contacts per year that I do. And then I have some other programs set up where I reach out to people throughout the year. But I do, it's hard to stay in front of them. And also you don't want to bother them either. So I think it's a fine line, because some people constantly send people and then all of a sudden they get blocked. Mm-hmm. And because people are like, I don't want to hear this over and over and over and over again. So I think you have to we do 2 big touches a year.
Okay.
And then in between, I'm working neighborhoods. I just call them up and see how they're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, I miss seeing you guys. How are you doing? How's the kids doing? I might stop in and watch one of their ball games. I love sports. Mm-hmm. So for me, that's the easy one for me to go to, is a basketball game, catch a basketball game, or a soccer game, or a football game, or tennis match, and just touch base with them. And then a lot of them call me for, hey, do you have a contractor for this? Or, hey, do you know a good furnace guy? Do you know a good electrician? Do you know a good plumber? And then that's a great time to catch up with them. Yeah. So just knowing that I have the resources, and I always tell them when I close on a transaction, if you need any help with anything regarding the house, you call me, because I have the contacts that they work with on a regular basis. They will come to your house. So yesterday I got a call. I sent one of my contractors over to help them. They had squeaky floors. And and they've been trying to fix them on their own. He just texted me, thank you so much. He's such a winner. He got them fixed right away. I love these guys. They're going to help me with some other projects. You're the best. I mean, that was just a simple, hey,
connecting.
You just keep them connected and you stay with them. And I had reached out to them at Christmas and said, Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys are doing well. And yeah, it worked out. So
that simple thing right there is not only beneficial to your client or your database or whoever it is you're giving value, but also your vendors.
Yes.
And keeping them busy and keeping them in a place where they can find success in their business.
Correct. It's all a team. Everything is a team. It's all relationship all the way around. Yeah. So, and you have that, and you just have to, and be willing to lose the transaction, because sometimes you're in the middle of a transaction and you have a bad home inspection or a bad appraisal, or you can tell the people are not feeling it, and just say, it's okay. We'll just, there's always another house. Mm-hmm. There's always another property, and not worry about that. So we're going to find the right fit. If you're not 100% on board, I'm not 100% on board. Yeah. And I think because I've had that sustainable success over time, I realize that not one transaction is worth your reputation or your relationship with your people. Yeah. And relationships are important on both sides, agent relationships and with your core people, because you're going to, on the agent side, you're going to be doing deals with these people again, hopefully. Mm-hmm. And so it's important to keep that good communication. Yeah. And be willing to, if you lose a transaction because you asked for a home inspection and they did not, understand that is a layer of protection that I'm not willing to give up for you. Mm-hmm. If they want to decide to do that, that's okay, but I'm never going to recommend that. Yeah. Yep. And you have to stay true to your core beliefs and never ever fudge on that, because it'll come back to bite you. Yep, but you got to be able to define those too, and I think that's important for most people. You said 2 touches a year. What are those 2 big ones that you do? Well, I do the Christmas cards, and then I have I also do the Husker magnets, and I do pumpkin breads. Okay. So I do the fall is the Husker magnets and the pumpkin breads, and then in the Christmas time we do that. But I also, the spring summer is so busy for everyone, and it's just harder for me. We're talking about doing something for the spring Easter time period this year, about adding an extra one, just to ramp it up a little bit. How many, if you do Husker magnets, how many people is that going out to at this point? It probably grows over the years. Yeah, I do about 650. 650? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of your 650 is like your database of people that you're making sure to stay in front of consistently. Yeah, and sometimes some of my clients, they'll list with another agent or sell their property because, their relationships change over time too. They might have a next door neighbor that's an agent, or their cousin gets in the business, or, relationships can change, and that's no problem. And so, and some people, move out of the area or things like that. So we stay in touch with them digitally, but not as much. They live in Washington, D.C., and they probably don't really want a Husker magnet. But we do Husker volleyball and Husker football. Oh, cool. So I kind of decide which one, because I know what people kind of enjoy and then decide on that.
Cool. I think that's smart. And then you've been doing that consistently, I imagine, for quite a while.
For about 22 years.
20. So just a few, right?
I started doing the magnets, I think in my second or third year in the business, and I've been, I just started my 25th year. So, I think
25. That's crazy. Well, how is your, you have this competitive drive about you. Obviously, you've been in sports and are still involved in sports in some capacity, but how does that competitive drive help you in this industry we're in right now?
Oh, it's like winning a game. Mm-hmm. You do your preparation, you practice what you're doing. The practices are like showing houses. Writing the contract is the prep before the game, and the win is when you get the contract, when you get the house put together. So that's it's competitive. My previous career I was in healthcare, and I didn't have that competitiveness feeling like I get with real estate. And when they talk about if you catch the bug of real estate, you're in, right?
Yep.
And that is very, very true. And I think a lot of people do catch that bug. But it is, I really like to win. And I do tell people, I tell my clients, when we're in a multiple offer situation, I said, here's the deal. If you want to play, you play to win. And here's our strategies to win. If you don't want to do the strategies, that's up to you.
Yep.
But in my advice to you, if you want to get in this race with multiple offers, you got to play to win.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell them what I would do to win. And then sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it's fun.
Yeah,
that's the fun part.
And how you're talking about it makes perfect sense to who you are, a team sports person too, right? I had Ben Smell on the podcast as well, and we talked about how to enter the market as a team. The market is the game, and we're going to enter this as a team. And too many agents right now find themselves where they're trying to convince their people to do something. So it's agent versus client, and they're trying to navigate the market, right? But we should be going into this as a team, and here's how we're going to win. And you're explaining that in a very easy way for them to understand.
Yeah, you always have to. You just have to break it down. This is a basketball. You probably heard this in sports, the KISS principle. Mm-hmm. Keep it simple. Mm-hmm. And I think just explaining everything to them. I think I have the best absolute way to explain agency. And everyone's like, okay. And I never have any kickback with it, because with the new agency laws, every time we go to meet with a client to describe agency, I have to say, well, you go to the doctor, right? You sign a consent to treat, and you agree to pay the insurance company whatever the insurance company does not pay for your doctor bill, you're willing to pay the extra. And it's the same in signing a buyer agency agreement. I am like the doctor, the sellers are like the insurance company, and we are going to ask for the seller to pay my fee. And 90% of the chance it happens, no problem. But everyone's like, okay, that makes sense, because they all sign the consent to treats when they go to the physician, and you can change doctors if you want to. Mm-hmm. So, and it's not signing your life away, but just having a clear understanding how we're paid and what our value is.
And that for you, that you say it right now as if you said it 100 times.
I've said it 100 times, and they totally understand it. So, and it's really worked out well, and because everyone has to go to the doctor at some point. So.
Yep. I'm going to change directions a little bit into the current market we're in.
Yep.
Ran numbers as we got to year end, and you can run MLS stats and data 100 different ways, right? As long as it's consistent. What we saw last year, which was funny, we saw a slower November, December in terms of closings than normal in the holiday season, and yet we were still up 4.8% in closed units in Douglas and Sarpy County. Right. So still a really, really great year, healthy. We want to see that kind of growth, but we had a lot of fear in the market closer to the end of the year when things started to slow down. Like, oh no, the market's changing. What's happening? And one thing I've heard over the past month or so is buyers have accepted what rates are. Like, they're okay with it. They're relying on it. Things are going to drop and waiting for this huge crash or whatever people might have thought over the past couple of years. What are you seeing in terms of conversations with buyers? How have they changed in the past 6 months? And the same with sellers.
I don't feel like the buyers look negatively on the rates right now.
Nope.
I think they're ready to go. And
They've accepted it.
They have totally accepted it. So in my world, just at my point in my business, I'm seeing a lot of empty nesters moving into ranches, villas, or my sphere's parents moving into their forever place or time to, think about the long term. And then I'm also seeing my sphere's kids buying. So I'm working with a ton of first-time home buyers, and I'm working with more mature buyers. And that middle of the market, which I think is more like that 4 to 550 market.
Yeah.
I think I'm not seeing as much movement right in that range as much. And it's interesting because if you look on the market where most of the inventory is sitting, it's in that market. And I think the biggest reason why it's sitting in that market is because they are all sitting there with their 3% interest rates, and they don't, for them to go from 350 to 550 and to go from 3% to 6% is too much for the young families.
Yeah.
And so I think the people that have like 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, they're just sitting tight until they can get a little bit more equity and they can save a little bit more so when the interest rates move into the 5% range, then those people will get off the fence.
Yeah.
Because they may have had another kid, they may be out of space, they're ready to do something different. They're ready to upgrade their property. And I think we're going to see finally that movement in that range. But where the first-time home buyers is strong.
Yeah.
It's very strong. And my people that want to build, the baby boomers, they have cash.
Yep.
So the interest rates don't matter to them.
Yeah.
And so it's going well. And the investors are still plugging along. They're pretty steady. But I would say we're back to a seasonal market. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how it always has been. I've always said November is the slowest month of the year. It's always been like that for me.
Yeah.
We had a couple really unseasonably good years in November, December that were unique because of the low inventory. But now we're back into a more normal seasonal market.
Yeah, we have about 3.3 months of inventory right now.
That's normal.
We're just right in that neutral balance space where we want to be.
Yeah, which is great for being a buyer agent right now, because I feel like when someone called me yesterday to go see a house, I didn't have to go at 7:30 at night to show the house. I could wait till tomorrow during daylight to go show them the house, and not have to just hustle so much.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a hurry, the old saying, I'm going to go back to basketball. John Wooden, be quick, but don't hurry. Mm-hmm. So that is really, really important when it comes to being a buyer agent. You need to be quick, but never hurry the process. Make sure you do all your due diligence. Make sure you read through everything. Do your CMAs on the neighborhood. Understand the seller property condition disclosures. Really, really make sure that you are super detailed for your client.
I think the buyers entering the market right now are much more educated over the past probably 2 to 3 years. They've heard all the stories. They've seen a lot more. So buyers are entering the market with a lot more education base, and now they're more hesitant. So people are saying they're more hesitant. There's not a lot of urgency. No, they're just trying to learn. And so if you're able to articulate what's happening in the market right now, you can help them win before spring. But all this rush of activity we've seen in January, those are your spring buyers. They're just wanting to be prepared for it.
They are.
And so being able to educate them on where the winds are right now is going to really help those folks move.
Yeah.
Sellers, on the other hand, that's where the expectations are kind of like, okay, we're not selling everything is 5 days or 3 days, and there's a little bit more fear there. Are you tackling that, the listing appointment of like, hey, we're in a normal market. This is all normal to not sell in 7 days. Have multiple offers.
I am. I think that I love listing appointments. I really love it. And I really love being a second or third agent on a listing too, because they're really ready to listen. Mm-hmm. They're super ready. And I always tell people, for people that have not sold, when I come in, and I always say 3 strikes, you're out. If I find 3 negatives of your house, you're never going to sell. So we have to really tackle those 3 things that are the problem areas. And I help them through that. One of the biggest things that I really, really think is super valuable is the pre-inspection. If you're an old house, pre-inspection, sewer scope, just get it done. Get it, because when a buyer is fearful of your home, they will not purchase it. And so you have to reduce all the fears of the home and then present it in a very beautiful manner.
Yeah, very clean.
Very clean. Has to be very clean. So, I mean, that's just preparation. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail. And a lot of agents do not prepare for their listing appointments, and they throw out a price. I am appalled sometimes when I come in on like the second or third agent and I said, well, we need to walk around the outside of the house. And they go, really? Well, our other agent didn't walk around the outside of the house. I said, we need to walk around the outside of the house. We need to look at the roof from a distance. We need to just get a visual. We need to check every window. We need to flush every toilet. I mean, when I do my walkthroughs it's a full on, this is not a half an hour listing appointment. This is room by room. We check it. Now, if it's a brand new house, there's not as much to look at. But on an older home, you really have to make sure you understand the house inside and out and ask the questions. So, just being very thoughtfully prepared before you present your listings. And I have so many people that say, oh my gosh, it's a Karen Jennings listing. We know it's ready. We know it's ready. She always gets her houses ready. And that makes me feel so good because I do put so much into that.
Diligence, right?
Diligence.
Details matter.
Details really matter. And you really have to, you want zero surprises. When you get to the point where you have zero surprises, the house is ready to go.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's almost ready. Can we just throw it on the market? And I'm like, nope. Pristine and perfect sells. Just be patient. Be patient.
That's got to be the messaging too. And I feel like right now we see a lot of that rushing, right? With contingencies happening right now. Like, it's a complex situation to have somebody sell their home and buy something else. And we're seeing people go out, try to get things under contract on the buy side and just throwing something on the market. And it's really hurting them.
And when I have that situation, I always tell them, okay, let's get your house ready. Let's take all the pictures. Let's have it prepared, and then we'll look. And when we find something, we'll put it on the market the next day. But then it's ready. And sometimes I've done that, and we've waited 5 months.
Yeah.
But we're ready.
But what you're saying is we're going to have a game plan. And I think that's where agents are struggling to have the hard conversation of we need to be prepared. Because number one, you have to get, especially for newer agents that maybe haven't done this before, you have to get your clients to trust you. But then when you're going out and writing offers, you also have to get the other agents to trust that you're going to be able to get the job done. And I think that's really important. You have that reputation behind you, so obviously it helps.
And I had one yesterday. One of my sellers called me. She says, well, we're looking for May. When should you come over and do the room by room with me? And I said, next week. Because then you have 3 months to get everything done.
Yep.
You're not in a rush. You're not spinning your tail at the end. Let's just go ahead and get that. And they're not spring chickens anymore either. So they have time to do it now. Let's just get it done.
Yep.
So
I love it. Tell me about 2025. What was the story of 2025 going into 2026 and what you're focusing on?
The story of 2025, I think, was the movement back into full inspections, back into careful analyses, back into if you did not price your home correctly, it was going to be on the market a long time. Your sellers were punished if that was not listed correctly. And the buyers were not going to overpay and the sellers were not going to get higher than their house was worth. And so we saw a little bit of correctedness in our market.
Okay.
And I also saw that the builders were also having to think about where they were spending their money a little bit more, or their houses were sit on the market. So the builders were struggling a little bit with that. Again, going back to that 450 to 650 price range, that market in there is tough.
Yep.
Because you're getting squeezed in the 450 to 500 range. You're getting squeezed by the biggies, the D.R. Hortons and the celebrities and those things, and you're getting pushed from that market. But then you're not quite in the high luxury market yet. So it's a tough market to be in.
Yep, it definitely is. Okay, I want to kind of ask the same question, but for you and your energy and what you're focused on. How was your 2025? What was the story for you personally, and your growth and development and what you're focusing on in 2026?
Just continuing my I mean, honestly, just running my offense. I mean, I know what to do.
Yep.
And
it works.
And just running the offense and staying with my game plan and never ever going out of that. And again, saying no. I used to show, like, I'd meet with someone and we'd show 10 houses in a row, and I don't do that anymore. I show 3 to 5 houses because I have them really look at the houses, understand the neighborhood, check the locations, make sure that they do some of their homework first, so we're not wasting their time or my time, just spinning our wheels. So I think working smarter, not longer. And so I think, and just taking time for me to rest.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's 10 o'clock at night. It's time for me to shut it down and get some rest, because I can't go at the, when I was younger, I would stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, sending out all my searches, doing all that, and then start at 7 o'clock in the morning again. And you can't sustain that over time.
Yeah.
And so for me to have sustainable success, I need to rest, not get in a hurry, be detailed, treat my clients like family.
Yeah.
Boom. Go forward.
Yeah, we talked a little bit on the phone, I think it was last week, about just protecting your time and energy, what feeds you versus what kind of takes and drains you. And I thought you had just such a good mindset on that, like trying to stay in a lane of the things that feed you versus the things that drain you.
Yeah, and I just know, like, I know that I need, when I have 3 full hard months, I need to take a weekend off and just go do something else. I'm also very, I make time for my exercise. I walk every morning, and I usually start at 7:30, so I watch the sun come up, and I walk for 45 minutes. This morning was cut a little short because I have this today.
Yeah, better to be here.
but I did 25 minutes, so I didn't get my 45, but I did 25 minutes. And it was cold this morning too. But my dog and I always go walking, and I just that sets my day, and I like that. I love walking. Like, it sets your spine, it sets your brain, the fresh air, watching the sun come up. There's nothing like it. So I do that every day. I am very much a structured person, and then I'm usually back by 8:30. I'm ready to go. So, but I usually try to. And sometimes once we get out of daylight savings time, then I'll start at 7, which is better. So then I'm basically on the phone by 8 in that time period. But it's just it's hard to be when it's super dark. To be out in the morning. So,
tennis, you got tennis going?
I got tennis. I play a lot of tennis. I play 3 times a week, and then this year I'll be on 3 teams, maybe 4. So I play 18 and overs, 40s and overs, and 55 and overs.
Dang. So that's where you get your competitiveness out a little bit, right?
I do love tennis.
Is that year round then?
Yeah, it's year round.
Year round, so 4 different leagues there. So how many days a week are you playing tennis?
Well, the different teams are different times a year.
Okay,
so right now we're in 40 and overs, and then we'll go to 55s, and then we go to 18s closer in the summer, and then we have what's called tri-level league, which is different levels play on one team, and that's usually like in late summer, August, September.
Right.
So we kind of stay, and then we don't really have many of those. Those are USTA teams, and then we have just regular leagues that we can play in. Then sometimes I just get together with a friend and we just go out and hit balls.
Cool.
And it's very therapeutic.
So that way, get some of that aggression out too, right?
Sometimes you're having a bad day and you just smack that ball.
That is hilarious. Okay, with the agents that are maybe in their first 5 years, right, looking at making this a business and a career, let's speak to that. Just what would you focus on here, knowing what you know coming this far, things that you would change? Like, what would be your focus to create more longevity but success this year?
Well, it's creating your database. Obviously, that's super, super important. And then I think just getting with a very experienced agent and following them. Okay.
So having a mentor, having some sort of coaching in place.
You need to have a mentor coaching. So I have one of my assistants is my daughter, and she is in school. She's in engineering school, but she is going to work a little bit part-time with us to help with open houses, to help with delivering signs and the smaller tasks of our business that take time away. And so I have right now, before I turn her loose, she's with me during all my open houses, and she's watching me, learning from me, helping with me. But I want to make sure that when I train agents, I have to be there for their first 10 purchase agreements and their first 10 listing appointments.
Okay.
I go with them. I'm right there with them. And then when I train someone, I like to have them, and then I watch them do it and we talk through things. But sometimes you learn the best on your own. There's no doubt. But also just talking, encouraging her to prepare for the open. Like, do your research on the house. Go to Douglas County. Do your own comps. Understand all the updates that are in the home. Be prepared for the open house. Just don't show up and wing it.
Yep.
You cannot wing it. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something that young agents have to understand, that this business is not about passing the real estate exam. This business is about connecting with people that know you and trust you and that want to work with you. Because if they like you and trust you, they'll work with you.
Yep.
And then second of all is showing them that you have prepared for them. Because if they feel a sense of winging it, they're out.
Yep.
And so these younger agents, they just need to be prepared and understand that it's okay to follow someone. If you're going to learn to fly an airplane, do you think that you just go out and wing it? Or do you think you follow a pilot for a long time and watch everything that they do?
Watch everything they do.
Correct. So they have to find a pilot.
Yeah, you're hitting on a really, really important topic, which is just the level of diligence and being prepared, and understanding that the consult, especially coming into this year, skill is going to be really, really important. Keeping deals together. Fell through contracts was up 28% last year. Expired listings was up 47% versus the year before. So skill is going to be much more important, and that is like getting ahead of all the hard conversations in your consults. So listing presentation and buyer consults, you should be having every single hard convo there. That way you're saving your time, stress, and emotion for later.
Correct.
And if you can do that and like go through, if you're an agent, go through 2025, all the hard conversations that you had, you should be adding those hard conversations to your consults, getting ahead of them. Oh, I've ran into this before. Let's get ahead of it at the consult and say, hey, this is something to be aware of. And right there is going to be a good way to grow. Right, and just having that kind of diligence. So last question here as we could start to wrap up. What's the plan for you? What's your long-term vision here? You're obviously going to keep doing what you're doing and be great in real estate.
Well, I think just continuing doing what I'm doing because I really enjoy it. And then also just every year I plan 2 big trips, and I still stay with that, like just figuring out where we're going to go. Mm-hmm. I'm really excited for next Christmas because my mother has never really traveled ever, and I lost my dad in August of 2024. Sure. So one of my big goals is to take my mother to Hawaii, and so she's all excited for next Christmas to travel there. She's never been to Hawaii. She's never really she's never been to the ocean, and she's 80. So we're gonna spend some time with her a little bit, and then So and my husband retired this year, so he has more time to do some of those type of things. But so
everything I'm hearing is just start to enjoy time too.
Yeah, I think that really, time is, that's your most valuable resource, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and where you put your time defines who you really are.
Yep.
And so, work is fantastic. I love it, but it's also does not define who I am.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we focus on, staying diligent with our faith, diligent with our fun time, our family, and then, and of course, I consider my clients part of our family, spending time with our family too. So it's just continuing forward.
Yeah, I'd love to see you in this mindset too.
Yeah.
Is there any, I know I said last question, but I'm going to ask you one more. Is there anything that you would like to see our industry change, like from the agent base, like how we communicate, how we do different things?
I think we could do a better job communicating with agent to agent.
Yeah.
And helping each other out. I think people forget that sometimes our number one clients are our other agents. And I think, for example, I had someone on your team that she was in the middle of showing houses and we needed to get a walkthrough done. I said, no problem. I'll get it. I'll get your walkthrough done for you. I have to go to the house anyway. Just send them over and I'll help. I mean, even we're not the same company, we're not the same, on the same team, but just being willing to reach out and help another agent.
Awesome.
I have a lot of great agents that say, hey, I'm going to go do the walkthrough. It's an hour drive. Can I grab your sign and lockbox for you and bring it back to you? I mean, how kind is that?
Yeah.
I mean, just really, really just going out of your way, because people do not forget the agents that have been extra kind to work with in the entire transaction.
That's right. And just being respectful.
Yes.
We're going to be talking again, so let's make sure we understand that.
Yeah, and I think too is like if you have multiple offers and the other agents that didn't win, call them back.
Yes.
Talk to them, explain to them why they didn't get it, so that they can learn and can teach their buyers as well.
That's exactly right.
It's just, and sharing that information, because so many people, every time I call, they go, I can't believe you called. That's just so nice. And I'm like, not everyone does that. No, we're lucky if we get a text.
Yep.
You didn't get the offer, sorry. And that, I just think that we took a couple hours to put an offer together, to send it to you, and have been waiting for 24 hours for a response. And we literally get, sorry, you didn't get the offer in a text. That is not good business plan.
That's exactly right.
So that would be just doing a little bit of a better job of that. So.
Well, I appreciate you spending time. I know how busy you are. And how little time you have. So anytime I get to talk to you, whether it's on the phone or here doing something like this and at the panel, is always valuable to me. I always learn something. So thank you so much for spending time with me.
Thank you for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Okay, guys, thanks for hopping in, listening, watching. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.